Eagles 33, Giants 25. Welcome to Talking Giants presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And hey, the Giants, I think the Giants' key to keeping it close with the Eagles is just playing backup quarterbacks, whether it's Davis Webb, Tommy DeVito, or Tyrod Taylor. Giants had a chance at the end. Justin, we'll get into it all. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Bobby Skinner, doing good. Recording this a little bit later than I think we both want to, just because this game was wonky and wacky. Wonky and wacky. Happy Monday to you. I hope everybody had a great day with their families on this normal Monday. How are you?
A little frustrated, right, because of this quarterback thing, which I want to talk about the dynamic of that. And not necessarily like a DeVito versus Taylor, because to me, that's not even a debate. It's just like how this quarterback thing has been handled and how I think benching DeVito changes the way I look at some things. Do you want to talk about the referees at the top, right? Because I don't want to get, because that I was like, there were some big time moments where the referees just made some wild calls in this game, right? Like the JMS false start where it's like, what is going on there? You saw JMS going like, what the hell are they talking about? What in God's green earth are they talking about? And then the end of the half, you know, Jalen Hurts, although it wasn't a fumble, his knee was down, did put the ball on the ground, and they call a delay of game. Like that, there's no chance that ball is getting snapped, right? That should have been 3 points off the board versus Eagles. And then the end of the game, before the Hail Mary, Darren Waller catches that pass, Justin. He's hurt, but the ball gets into the referee's hand, and he's just standing there on the sideline doing nothing. Just doing nothing until Saquon finally rips the ball out of his hands and sprints to, set it down for the other referee. If Saquon does not rip the ball out of a referee's hands, they don't get a snap off on a ball that was, on a play that was done at like 18 seconds left.
Yeah, so Darren Waller catch. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the Darren Waller catch on that fourth down to put the Giants, kind of close to the red zone. That's the sequence of events that cost the Giants the most. Okereke had only resulted in a field goal. The Giants were either going to be down by 8 or they were going to be down by 5. They would have needed a touchdown regardless of that Okereke outcome. But even with the Okereke outcome in the first half, I think the refs have to know that Bobby Okereke's intent there is to pick up the ball if it's a fumble, not to pick up the ball to end the half. I think they have to understand intent there, but they clearly didn't, and that was bullshit. But Darren Waller catches the ball with 17 seconds left, and I made a whole video on this. Darren Waller catches the ball with 17 seconds left. He's hurt, little dazed, a little confused, getting up a little slow, but still gets up and hands the ball to the referee that's closest to him with 13 seconds left. Now, there's also, you have a ball boy. One of those ball boy that has the orange X on their shirts. He's coming off the sideline literally saying, I have a ball, I have a ball, I have a ball. The official is holding another football. The official that's closest to the sideline is just holding a football, standing there doing absolutely freaking nothing. The official that is on the field that's ready to spot the ball is standing there being like, I'm ready for a football, don't have anything. And then Saquon Barkley, that's when he rips the football out of the official by the sideline's hands. Saquon Barkley brings that ball to the official, spots it, ball spiked with 3 seconds left. That process took 14 seconds when, maybe it should have taken 6 or 7. So that's, another play that the Giants could have run to possibly get closer to the end zone to have a shot at the end of the game. And if Saquon Barkley, you pointed this out, if Saquon Barkley doesn't grab that ball from the official's hands, the Giants don't even get that last play of the game off. So great IQ play by him.
Yeah, just wild. Now, I think if the fourth down JMS thing is probably the biggest difference maker, because that was a drive ender right there. But just like 3 crucial calls. But I don't want to spend too much time on referees. I want to talk about
Barkley
this game.
Did flop the final play of the game.
Oh yeah, Tyrod was complaining about like pass interference. There was no pass interference.
It was smart by him because you never know.
Yeah.
It's again two smart IQ plays by Barkley back to back, because you never know if the officials are gonna call that. But he definitely flopped, and I think the Giants were gonna lose, and they definitely got outplayed in like every facet of this game. But again, sucks that a game ends like that.
Yeah, so
Officials
let's talk
done.
about let's talk about the quarterback situation right now, right? Because Tommy DeVito was chosen over Tyrod Taylor for the Packers game, right? We talked about it at great length. And a talking point, I was very in favor of starting Tyrod Taylor, right? I think he's the much better player. And I don't think, I know that Tyrod Taylor to me is a better player than Tommy DeVito. And I think that gap is wider than people really want to give it credit for, right? But they went with Tommy DeVito, right? The young guy, want to see what we have in him. I'm okay with it. He played, had his best game versus the Packers, obviously. And then they didn't do anything on offense versus the Saints, but I don't watch that film and look at Tommy DeVito as like, oh, this guy's just trash, right? Like I thought like he actually played some real quarterback in that game, just didn't get the turnovers on defense. But the take I had is even before the Packers game, Justin, is like, okay, you've made this decision. Like you've decided, like move on in the future, see what you got. Play him. Do not pull him. Do not take away his confidence. Let him go out there and actually play quarterback and not just try and survive because you're forced to play him. You make this decision over Tyrod Taylor, play him. And it seemed like Brian Daboll benched him at the first real chance that he got, right? Like named him the starter after the Saints game immediately. Like, no, I'm not even looking at the tape. Got to look at the tape. I'm not looking at the tape.
Nope.
Says he's earned it. And then after one half of football, is just pulled the plug on him, right? And I know he did pull the plug on him for a better quarterback, but he was a better quarterback before that game, before the Packers game and all. So I just, it does not make sense to me if you, like, and here's where I'm going to say, is to me, it shows that you did this because of fan pressure, because of the Tommy DeVito, they won 2 games, blah, blah, blah. That's why. It was fan pressure because they had won 2 games in a row, and you never truly cared about developing this quarterback. Because if you did, there's no reason you would have pulled him in one half versus the Philadelphia Eagles. If you actually cared about developing Tommy DeVito and seeing what you have in him, you would have not benched him.
I think they could still care about developing him, but the ceiling is now, like, I think, and this is what we've always believed, but I think there was a lot of people out there that believed that, oh, you could be a QB2. You could be the backup for Daniel Jones next year if they don't want to draft a quarterback. I still think that they want to develop him, but it's as a practice squad quarterback 3. It's not as a guy on the 53, or if you are a guy on the 53, then I think it'd be a waste of a spot as QB3 and definitely not a QB2. So, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think they still want to develop him, but just not as this backup, as the backup on the New York Football Giants.
I'm sure of course they want to develop him, but they've never looked at him as a real option if they pull him that early. Like you can, like I've heard all the arguments.
That. They 100% like with this move and this decision, they're like, all right, well, we never viewed you as most of the fan base did.
Yeah. Well, and I've heard all the arguments, right? Well, Bobby, they were riding the hot hand. Bullshit, they were riding the hot hand. They scored 10 points in the game before they made the decision off of 3 turnovers. They had a field goal drive off of an 8-yard drive, and then a touchdown on a drive where it ended up being a 26-yard drive coming off an interception. The 2 plays that led to the touchdown was a 3rd and long where you threw it to Jalen Heifer, drag route.
You talking about the Patriots game?
Yeah, the Patriots game.
Where they were also a field goal away in regulation from tying the game going to overtime?
Well, and again, the 1 touchdown drive were 2 really great yak plays from Jalen Hyde and Isaiah Hodgins. Those were both 3rd and longs, and those guys, went above, the X's and O's to make plays and get them on that touchdown. It's like, well, look at the whole body of work. He was 41st of 41 QBs at an EPA per play at the moment. To me, it was folding to a fan base that was blinded by a win, that was blinded by 2 wins in a row and how exciting that was. It's totally blinded by it. If it's about seeing what you have in Tommy DeVito, letting him grow, well, he played well versus the Packers, and he played actual QB in the Saints game despite only 6 points. So you just shot at any chance of confidence and development. Like, he played better quarterback in the Saints game than he did the Patriots. So you benched him after declaring him the starter and saying he earned it after the Saints game. Was one bad half of football enough to say, fuck this kid's development? Or did you really never care that much about his development? So the argument, DeVito was going to be the QB who was here. Tyrod Taylor's not. DeVito is going to be here next year for sure. Are you sure that the Giants, who have carried 2 QBs under Brian Dable, are dead set on carrying 3 QBs next year? Because that's what it will take to keep him on another team from scooping him up if he's any good. So you played the worst QB and you told your locker room, who knew you were full of shit, that, right? When you said, he's better off, the locker room knew you were full of shit. And I got and I kind of have that on good authority that the locker room wanted Tyrod Taylor to be play. And then you bench him the first chance you got. So that tells me it doesn't matter. And who cares? But it matters. You could say, who cares, right? Oh, who cares about these 2 QBs? But it does matter to the guys in the locker rooms. And it matters that Dable and decision makers gave in to people who were having fun doing a pinch finger celebration. You wouldn't have benched him if you actually thought that there was anything to see, and you wouldn't have coached him deathly afraid of throwing an interception, right? If it was truly about seeing what you had in Tommy DeVito, they coached him deathly afraid, and it showed up in this game. He was deathly afraid of throwing an interception. That's why, quick game, it should be like a backup QB's best friend. Tommy DeVito was deathly afraid to run any fucking quick game because that meant trusting your timing and trusting your eyes on quick throws, and he had none because the coaches instilled, do not throw an interception, deeper interception, which I'm fine of coaching DeVito that way, but don't start him over Tyrod Taylor and tell me he's the best option and lie to your fucking locker room's face if that's the way you view him.
Oh, he was lying for weeks. Now, here's the thing.
I don't care about him lying to the media or fans, but lying to your locker room is what bothers me, and that's why I was with it. But hey, you can get under the guise of, hey, this is the younger player. We want to see what we have on him. We won some games. That's fine, but you don't pull the trigger because now you ruined his confidence. You can't put him back in now.
No.
You can't put him back. Like, if it was truly about his development, you would have actually gave him some confidence. Like, hey, if you have some fuck ups, we're not going to pull the plug on you. We're going to let you, get through some of your struggles.
You think DeVito's done? I actually think that there's a chance that he could start again.
I don't know. I don't really care about speculating on that. But how do you do that, though, after Tyrod Taylor was, clearly better? I mean, if you look in this game.
He was better.
Tyrod Taylor, on 18 plays where he either passed, ran, or was sacked, 18 plays for 153 yards, 8.5 yards per play. With DeVito, 18 plays as well, 58 yards, 3.2 yards per play. Almost 3 times as many yards per play. Saquon was a little better with him, but not marginally better. But 3.2 total yards per play with DeVito, 6.9 yards with Tyrod. And let's not forget that Tyrod was a scout team QB this week. Tyrod didn't get to game plan versus the Eagles. And you saw on that end of the game drive, they started just spamming that sail concept, right? So to me, and you look at just the way they played. DeVito had the lowest average depth of target in the NFL this week at 1.1 yards. Wasn't that the one thing about DeVito? Oh, at least he tries to push the ball down the field. Not in this game.
It's been gone since the Packers game. It's been gone.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor's had the longest average depth of target of 15.7 yards. Now, I'm not saying Tyrod's great. Tyrod missed on some plays.
Yeah, there were two huge misses that he had to Waller and then even Wandale on that final drive.
Wandale had a big drop the following play
next play. But that miss to Waller was a touchdown where he's rolling out to his left, and that's just a pitch and catch where Tyrod's
that is a tougher throw than I
think he's got to hit that.
Yeah, you got Reddick and you're
wide open. He's wide ass open.
Yeah, he's got to make that throw. But again, we're talking about a backup QB.
Yeah, and also there's way more to. So this is what I really want to do. Number one, I don't have the energy anymore to do this. The season is almost. There's 2 games left.
But it doesn't bother you that
it does bother me.
It's not about Tyrod versus DeVito. It's about that the coaching and the coach.
Yes.
They folded under fan pressure.
Yeah, it does bother me. But hopefully, my thinking is my brain has moved on to the offseason and finding a possible QB1 for the Giants, where this will never be an issue ever again.
Yeah, I hope so too. But
that's where my brain is.
It doesn't. But here, the Saquon Barkley decision, right? It doesn't worry you with that.
I think that's more of a Joe Shane thing than a Dable thing.
But you don't think like this DeVito thing was like that wasn't just a Brian Dable, like that's a top down type of decision.
Yeah, they
of,
usually
like,
we know that they make that Dable and Shane are close enough that they make these decisions together.
Like that does like that absolutely
all right,
worries
so here's the
me, right?
thing.
It's
Here's
not my biggest fear. Like,
I'll play devil's advocate. I'm going to play devil's advocate. The season's done. The season's washed, right? The season has been done and it's been washed for a long time, even before Tommy DeVito took over as quarterback. We had the fun, hey, where guess what? If we beat the Saints last week, I'm going to this game in Philadelphia and I'm like saying like, oh, holy shit, like the season is quote unquote alive, even though it's like not, right? We all were having fun with it. But I think I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not even saying I think this, but I think their mindset is, and again, but you're right, where you have a locker room of 52
you have
other
a
guys.
defensive coordinator where there's issues with.
I know. But
we're going to talk about the defense. Wink Martindale's quotes to Pam Oliver later. Like, you don't think that shit matters? Anyone saying it doesn't matter is full of shit and is honestly just a little pissy because the DeVito thing fell apart.
But do you know where I'm going? Though? Where you have Tyrod Taylor, who they've acknowledged that he's on an expiring contract, and
yes, but leave DeVito in then, right? That's
right.
why I said you made your decision. Leave him in. Yes, did I want Tyrod to start when he came back? Absolutely. But once you like, I was shocked that Tyrod Taylor was in for the second half. I did not even think of that as a possibility going into halftime. I was shocked to see him in at quarterback coming out of the half.
So I think that like you compared it to the Saquon Barkley situation. I think for the more important decisions that face the franchise, I think they will take more of a different approach as to this, where the season's over and it's like, why not just see what the hell you got in this kid, because it doesn't really matter anyway.
They knew what they had, Justin. They watch these guys every day. The see what we got is what people say from the outside looking in. Right. I always remember Pat Shurmur when they fucking put Kyle Lauletta and he went 0 for 5. Like, did you guys see what you needed to see? Like, they know what they have in Tommy DeVito. You see the way that they coach him. They know what they have. The idea, like, we'll see what we got. Like they always knew what they had in him. And that's the thing that frustrates me.
Now we all know. And now we all know. So that's, I'm hoping that, again, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready for this to be over. But they certainly brought back up the old feelings that we had a couple weeks ago, saying, I think this other guy's better. Like, close your eyes, Bobby. We've been playing some trivia shows on JM Football about like, guess the player and which player is better in this category, right? So close your eyes. There's one player that's Tommy DeVito. There's one player that's Tyrod Taylor. You have one player who has been a veteran for a very, very long time, has started in a lot of different systems and a lot of different schemes. One of those systems and teams was for the head coach of the New York Football Giants, where it was his scheme and his offense. The other guy is an undrafted free agent with little upside, takes a lot of sacks, a shit ton of sacks, takes more sacks than the guy that usually takes a lot of sacks than Tyrod Taylor. And doesn't have a lot of upside right now, but is fun and from New Jersey. Which player would you take? The veteran's vet or the UDFA with the fun story? Like, close your eyes and like, who would you realistically pick as like the guy that gives you the best chance to win? And that was the case a couple weeks ago, but obviously Brian.
Which guy would Darius Slayton and Saquon Barkley pick? Which guy would Wink Martindale pick?
Yeah, they chose to bring back up. They chose to bring this argument back up. And again, I really don't have the energy nor the desire to really do it anymore, man.
And again, it's not like, oh shit, no, maybe they're not the right guys for the job, but this situation plays into my brain and future situations. So
yeah, I hope it doesn't. I hope it's just this one little thing, and maybe we don't really view that this matters all that much because we don't have a solution for quarterback on the roster right now. So we'll just ride with the vibes. Literally, I'm hoping that was their reasoning, and they will not do that for other roster decisions like Saquon Barkley.
Right in the hot hand.
Let's talk about something.
Let's talk about something, guys. Let's talk about Waterboy. Let's talk about Tommy DeVito's future job. That was mean. With the holidays here, our sponsor Waterboy is here to help you prepare for those nasty hangovers. There's nothing worse than feeling like a dirty old Jim Carrey character in a movie while everyone else in the family is rocking. I love Waterboy. So when I was up in New Jersey for the Tommy DeVito game versus the Patriots, where they only put up 10 points, Justin.
Yep.
We recorded in our warehouse, and they had a bunch of Waterboy stuff. I took some home, and it's truly great. And to me, it's not even for the hangover. It's just like, hey, if you didn't get enough water into the day, you start your day with it. It's amazing. And if you're someone who does have like struggling hangovers, Waterboy is a hydration powder scientifically formulated to cut your hangover time in half. There are other hydration packs on the market, but nothing comes anywhere close to fighting those Sunday scaries like Waterboy. With 0 sugar and over 3 times the electrolytes of Liquid IV, your hangover will stand no chance. We're taking shots at the competitors. For this season, our listeners will get 15% off your entire order with our exclusive link at waterboy.com/giants. Inside each stick, there's ginger for that nausea and to make your tummy feel better. Maybe the best part about Waterboy is how amazing it tastes, which is true. They got good flavors. It's got good flavor. Their most popular flavors include strawberry, lemonade, lemon lime, which is my personal favorite, and blue raspberry. Which is your favorite?
Blue raspberry.
You're going to actually want to drink these, people. In fact, you might get too hydrated if you buy this stuff, because you're going to like the flavor so much you just want to drink it more than everything else. So I love Waterboy, and I use it all the time. I start not every single morning, because I actually had to order some more because I went through it so quick. But I try and start every morning with some Waterboy. So. Hundreds of thousands of people already trust Waterboy as their hangover cure. It's time to stop dealing with anxiety alone. For a limited time, my listeners get an exclusive 15% off discount with our link at waterboy.com/giants. That's 15% off at waterboy.com/giants. It's time to hydrate this holiday season. You'll be glad you did.
Despite missing couple throws, Tyrod Taylor still at a 70th percentile EPA per play. Tommy DeVito had an 8th percentile EPA per play. Despite missing some throws, Tyrod Taylor had a 46th percentile CPOE, which again is not great. And despite completing 69.2% of his passes, Tommy DeVito had a 16th percentile CPOE. And despite having an average up to target of 1.3 yards, which was in the zeroth percentile, Tommy DeVito somehow still had the zeroist somehow had a CPOE of almost -10, which I don't know how that's possible.
So let's talk about their actual play and not just the situation.
Sure.
So Tyrod's misses were the Saquon on the zero blitz,
That's right? Yes.
I actually go back and rewatch that play. That's not a play where like he got the ball out. There's literally 2 guys screaming down his face, and Saquon hasn't really turned around yet. That's a tough one. But the Waller one, like you said, you got to have that one, right? I'm not saying you got to lead it out in front of him to have all the yak in the world, but I think you got to have the arm strength to just get that ball out there, despite Hassan Reddick screaming down your neck. But there was some big I mean, you have the Wandale drop that was on there, and then the Darius Slayton play, right? 3 catches, 90 yards, a touchdown, cementing himself as the leading receiver, essentially, for the 4th time in 5 years. And that was like a beautiful throw. You run that sail concept where it's high, mid, low, and Tyrod Taylor, like a throw that he can make that DeVito can't, floating backwards in the pocket to his left, fires that in there with a beautiful ball, and then Slayton's able to get some yak and turn it into 6. That was a beautiful ball. There was the catch, the throw to Waller at the end of the game. Like that was a big time throw. The Wandale drop, and there was a couple other really good plays and just operation, right? His ability to scramble for over 20 yards on his 2 scrambles. Tyrod Taylor, for coming in with really no game planning for the Eagles and working as a scout team QB, showed why he's made a good amount of money in the NFL.
Yeah. I think the run game is better when he's in there. I think if he's in there for the whole game, I think Saquon Barkley could have had a better day. I think Tyrod Taylor gets the ball to the receivers. I think Slayton could have had a better day. I think Waller could have had a better day. Waller had his best game as a Giant against Washington, the home Washington game, and that was, the Darren Waller game. I think he could have had a better game. I'm not going to say that the Giants they have a better shot at winning if Tyrod Taylor's playing for the whole game.
If Tyrod Taylor wasn't injury prone, Justin, I'd be saying bring him back.
My overall thoughts with this Giants team right now and this Giants offense, it's been explosive plays for years now, but so I won't just talk about that. They need to get better on first down. It's same thing every single week, man, of watching this team of, all right, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. It just every week, if 1, 2, 3, 3rd down, 1, 2, 3, 3rd down, 1, 2, and Research Rick tweets it out that Peyton Manning talks all the time about first down, second down, first down. That's the step that this Giants offense needs to get at, where we're not just running 2 plays to get to 3rd down and then convert. Being better on first down, and whether that's through a running game, whether that's through a quick passing game. They got a little bit better with it last year, but still, Daniel Jones was one of the more effective quarterbacks on second down because they didn't really do much on first down when it wasn't really running the ball. So that's I know it's kind of like big picture stuff, not really with this game, but you do look at this game and how the Eagles were so good on 3rd down, and it has a lot to do with they can get to 3rd and shorts, they can get to 3rd and manageables. Even if they get to 4th and manageables, they just go for it on 4th down. And the Giants, these last couple weeks are like 1 for 10, 1 for 11, 1 for 12 on 3rd down. It's because they always just get into 3rd and longs.
Yeah, it's just they're wanting to run the ball, and they just can't run the ball very well. Obviously, this was probably one of the more efficient games, which is sad because Saquon only had 3.7 yards per carry in this game, right? And you look at this game like, hey, they actually were able to run the ball pretty well, right? Just because they weren't creating a bunch of negatives. And I think, obviously, to me, that starts with the run blocking up front, which has been flat out bad. And they need a second blocking tight end so badly, right? Like, you only had 2 tight ends active in this game, and they're doing this Mark Lewinsky shit. That shit needs to stop, right?
Mark Lewinsky's not a fullback.
Second play of the game, they put him on the field. It's a negative loss. Like you said, putting them in a 3rd and long because they're like, okay, Lewinsky's in. We can just power in. They did it again on a short yardage play. They were able to get a -1 loss on that play.
How many running backs are active right now?
4. We have 4 running backs active, and Gary Brightwell's 21-day window is open.
How many of those running backs? So you have 2 running backs that are like legit, and Matt Breida and Saquon Barkley.
Gray and Jashawn Corbin got 0 snaps.
Do any of them return kicks or add like significant special teams value?
No, they do.
So why are there 4?
Not.
Why are there 4 running backs on the roster where none of them provide special teams value, and you only ever use 2 of them?
I actually want to see if Jashawn Corbin even gets any special team snaps.
I mean, okay, sure that they could be a gunner or whatever. Like,
right, but I want to see. I don't even know if Corbin gets that, right? Yeah, I mean, he's been like a healthy and active. Like, he's not even he's literally useless as long as the other 3 running backs are healthy. Obviously, you got to carry 3, but Corbin's literally serving no purpose on this team right now.
Yeah, so you have the 4th and 1 conversion early in the game where finally we're not QB sneaking, we're not going out of the shotgun and then running, hoping that we get a favorable box. We go under center, and Saquon Barkley, it's a nice run, and then Daniel Bellinger has a nice block, and it's first down. Like, all right, cool. And then you get the second 4th and 1, and they try and do the same thing, and instead of a blocking tight end in there, you have Daniel Bellinger and Darius Slayton in the box trying to block people, and Hassan Reddick comes wide open, and he gets a tackle for loss, and I know maybe you want to talk more about that play.
Well, yeah, it was like that first 4th and down, like, hell yeah, Daniel Bellinger, that was a great block. You created that first down. And then, same series, 4th and 1, Hassan Reddick jumps into the C gap, before the snap, and Bellinger is just looking so far. He's just looking. He never even looks to his right. That like, okay, maybe someone moved into this gap. He never even looks and then leaves that unblocked.
But also you have Darius Slayton lining up as a wide receiver when you could take a wide receiver off the field, have a blocking tight end, and that's another guy with his hand in the dirt that could account for a guy that's screaming down the line to get a tackle for loss. It's frustrating, man. It's like writing on the wall. You could see it clear as day in training camp. It's like, why are we trying to use Lawrence Cager as Darren Waller 2.0 when this isn't really real life? If Darren Waller goes down, you're not going to run the same offense here. And lo and behold, Darren Waller did go down this year. They did not use Lawrence Cager as Darren Waller 2.0, and now we have Mark Lewinsky as a fullback when he's never done that ever in his life.
Well, there's no threat of him going out for a pass unless it's a trick play.
Right. Even you would think it'd be a running advantage. It's not. It just
no, because they sell out when they see Lewinsky on the field. They sell out.
Right.
They just totally sell out on the run. JMS fucked up on that stump, but I thought he held his own pretty well. Now they kind of they put Jordan Davis on the field a lot more than they did their other defense tackles. I think it was like just trying to stop the run. And so not much of a pass rush threat there, but Andrew Thomas played really well. Offensive line, like they only gave up one sack. It was that 3rd and long where JMS got beat, right? And it wasn't even just stunned. JMS just got flat out beat, got beat to his shoulder. And you got to move your feet quicker than that, JMS. You got to play more aggressive in your pass protection. Outside of that, they didn't give up many sacks, and it wasn't like, oh my gosh, they didn't have any sacks, but they were under pressure and getting rid of the ball type of stuff. It's not like the 49ers game where you look at the sack number, like that's not bad, but they were just throwing the ball so quickly. That's not really what happened, especially with Tyrod Taylor. I mean, he had the longest average depth of target in the NFL. And, they weren't also scrambling for their lives either. You had 3 total scrambles, Tommy with 1 and Tyrod with 2. I do want to talk about why DeVito was benched a little bit. I know you're probably sick of me here, but I wanted to go through some plays. He was simply afraid to throw the football in this game unless it was the screens, right? Like he passed up multiple open guys and quick throws. Basically, was just working screen game versus off coverage, and it was that. And it's just simple stuff. Like they ran a 0 blitz, and this was actually one of their better plays for Tommy DeVito. Was that little check down to Daniel Bellinger, and his eyes just go the completely wrong way on it, right? Where it's like you see that blitz, your eyes need to go towards that blitz because that's where they're believing someone open. Didn't do that. Obviously, got scrambled to the left. You had a 3rd and 5 pass to Slayton where he's open, right? In route, open, throw it, and he does it. He gets off of it because it's going to be not the easiest throw in the world. Checks it down the Breida. And then I think the one that really bothered them is a 3rd and 5, and they ran smash, and Waller is wide ass open on a corner route. Wide ass open, and he just doesn't throw it, scrambles to the right, incompletion. So I think those are the reason why. Do you have anything else on this offense? Right? I mean, Slayton, 90 yards, nice game for him. He's going to lead the team in receiving again. Basically hit on all of it, right? No
targets for Hyatt.
Yeah, he just struggles with press, man. He really, not even, I was saying he struggles with press, man, but he also struggles with press, man.
Got it. I would have thought that there would be more. It's tough with Tommy DeVito. I would have thought that there would be more of a conceited, we're going to try and pick on Keely Ringo a little bit. No, he had the game-sealing interception, but that was just a Hail Mary type of that's a Hail Mary type of throw to the end zone to end the game there. But I don't know. I didn't like. I couldn't see if Keely Ringo was like playing well or locking down, but James Bradbury is a good corner in this league, and Keely Ringo was a guy that we talked about in the draft being like, this guy's not really, he's a very unpolished, undisciplined corner. So I actually was excited to see at the start of the game that he was starting for the Eagles, that maybe there would be more of a concerted effort to pick on him. No. So I'm excited to see for your film review if you come away with anything like that. So
yeah, we'll clean that up. Why don't you talk to us about something, and then we'll talk about the defense and Wink Martindale's comments that Pam all over.
I'll talk to you about jackpot. Got it right on the pot and the jack. What would you do if you won, drum roll please, if you won $638 million? Whoa! That's how much money I was going to win if Boston Scott scored a touchdown today. Well, that's the current Powerball jackpot, believe it or not. And today's sponsor, Jackpot.com, lets you play the lottery right from your phone. You can play Mega Millions, Powerball, New York Lotto, and more. And there's no need to go and stand in line at the convenience store. All you have to do is download the Jackpot.com lottery app, and it's live right now in New York, Texas, Ohio, and Massachusetts. I just used the Jackpot.com lottery app, and it was super, super easy. I need to make back the money that I lost because Boston Scott did not score a touchdown. Plus, we have the
Sorry
free...
about that. We basically we got thousands of people to bet that, and it did not happen. Sorry. I'm actually genuinely sorry for being so strong about that. I'm not convinced that the people didn't like, hey, let's end this Boston Scott thing. People are we're gonna lose money on this. But anyways,
there's conspiracy going on. We have the hookup for a free ticket from Jackpot. All you have to do is use code GIANTS when you make a deposit. That means you have a chance to win, drumroll please, $638 million for free if you use code GIANTS in the Jackpot.com lottery app. So click the link below to download or go to Jackpot.com. Make sure you use code GIANTS at checkout. Bobby Skinner, you'll be glad you did.
you'll be glad you did. Who did the talking? Did you do this? Guess who only losses to for the Lamar Jackson thing?
I just did that.
Okay, I was like, I don't expect anyone besides me and you to know that. Good memory.
Thank you.
Giants defense. I want to give you some numbers and then we'll talk about Wink Martindale's quote. Gave up 465 yards, 8 for 15 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down. You say, well, the turnovers, the 2 turnovers, one special team one, where Boston Scott fumbled it. And the other one, Goddard slipped on an RPO and Adoree returned it for 6. Their running backs averaged 5 yards per carry on 27 carries. You gave up multiple big plays. They scored on 7 of 10 drives. You didn't really get aggressive on them. Justin, did you hear what Wink said to Pam Oliver?
Yeah, let's review it though and let's break it down piece by piece.
So basically, we kind of know, right? The Giants when their wins are off of the turnovers, right? That is how they 100% true for, especially the Patriots game, the Commanders game got some turnovers in there. They've had to live off turnovers to win games. And that's what led to the 3-game winning streak. Basically said to Pam Oliver, right? Like talking to media, right? And since the Jay Glazer report, Wink Martindale has done nothing to say, oh, no, me and Dable are fine, right? Dable tried to quiet down with the only thing we argue about is the last slice of pizza. Wink basically admitted it without actually saying, yeah, we're really pissed off at each other. Says to Pam Oliver, yeah, it's tough, but it's a challenge for our defense that, we talk about it. We have to outperform the other team's offense and their defense. Basically saying this offense is dog shit, which is true.
Did he say defense or special teams, or did he say all three? He did mention special teams in there too.
I bookmarked it, so I can just play it. Let me just play it for the people.
He mentioned something about special teams. I'm pretty sure.
Understand for now, with their struggles on offense, whatever the team's success may be based on production from Wink Martindale's defense. He affirmed that, saying it's something you got to talk about. You can see it. He said players need to embrace the challenge of what he said was the need to outplay the opponent's offense and their defense.
Oh, no special teams.
Giants understand for now.
No, and we'll talk about special teams in this podcast because it's what you guys love to hear about. And it's not even me being mad at Thomas McGahee either, which is a little bit of a curveball for our special teams segments. We're going to find out for real in 2 weeks from now, Justin, but there's got to be issues. And I really wonder if this thing can be figured out.
I'm way more, and I know you agree with this, I'm way more concerned with how Dable deals with his coordinators and how Dable deals with his coordinators, because Wink Martindale is a successful defense coordinator. Way more concerned about this storyline than, if they caved to the fan pressure and they caved to the fan whatever with Tommy DeVito and blah, 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 blah. This has been, since that Jay Glazer report, this has been the thing that has been most pressing on my mind about the New York Giants than anything else, than wins, than losses, than anything. Trying to keep a good, positive thing in Wink Martindale and defensive coordinator in the building.
After these last 2 games, a response to that would be like, well, we got to stop acting like Wink Martindale's something amazing. What do you think about that?
The offense doesn't do anything.
I agree. Now, defense, I don't think played well at all in this game.
No. Eagles are also a lot more talented, man.
Agreed.
And what you ask your defense to do is to keep you in games. And it is so difficult unless you have a top-end defense. Or I was even going to bring up like the Cleveland Browns, but the Cleveland Browns at times allow these big stinkers of 30 and 40-point games. Like it is so tough to play sustainable week in, week out, good defense unless you have all pros at all levels. And breaking news, Giants, like we don't have an all pro at all levels. Bobby Okereke may be close to it. He's not an all pro. Dex is the all pro. Where's that all pro in the secondary? Not there. There's not all pro players throughout this defense. And the fact that the defense has been so good forcing these turnovers, which they didn't do last year. I think it's tough to come by to get a defense coordinator that could be this stable and this good for you. And it's so tough to play good top-end defense. And without a good offense in today's NFL, it is really impossible to play elite defense week in and week out. It is.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, in a game where you are outclassed at every position across the board, right? Like, besides the Eagles running backs versus the Giants linebackers, in any positional matchup, the Eagles are outclassed them. The offensive line is much better than the Giants front. Their receivers are much better than our DBs. Their tight end is better than our safety. Goddard has owned McKinney. Their quarterback is obviously better than, the coverages and stuff you're throwing at them. And even then, like you would talk about, I would rather have Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden and Simmons as my linebacker core than DeAndre Swift and Kenny Gainwell as my running back group, but they're able to run the ball really well. So I agree, but I did want to throw that out there to talk about that. I was like, you can't. Now again, I'm pissed off of the way he played the Saints, but to me, when I was shitting on Wink for the Saints game, I had people being like, well, he never adjusts. Like, no, that he adjusted. That's the issue. He adjusted for some reason in this Saints game. But I do have worries that Wink, as the season gets along and starts playing better QBs, he does play a little softer. You even saw it in Baltimore a little bit, right? Like one of the first games when we hired Wink, I went and watched that Bills game, and they played well in that game, but it's like, man, you didn't really send blitzes in this game. Now defense is much more Jimmys and Joes than X's and O's than offense, right? So if you get the guys in here and you build, like you said, get all pros, get great players, get really good players, get, nickel corners that can play the run, get corners that can play the run, it'll look a lot better. But I was a little frustrated on some of the third downs in this game and fourth downs where you're 3rd and 20 and you give up a 32-yard pass to AJ Brown and you're rushing 4, right? And you're just sitting back in zone like, well, they're gonna play on that. And then the Devontae Smith touchdown, you rush 3, and then you flawed and man on Devontae Smith. He gets cooked, obviously, and then the 3 guys you have rushing the passer are Timmy Horn, Jordan Riley, and A'Shawn Robinson. Like, that's not a path to success. You had 4th and 5 where, you have guys playing off and they just run a little, 6-yard hitch and they're able to get a first down.
Yeah, that was a frustrating one to me, is that I'll never understand that in the NFL, especially when it's 4th down and it's do or die. It's not even 3rd down where it's like, all right, well, maybe it's a 4th and 2 and you have the option to go for it or you don't. It's 4th and 5. It's do or die. You have guys lining up 10 yards off the ball. That's the one where it bothers you.
Yeah, and you could say, well, they at least get turnovers. Well, the turnovers in this game was the special teams. And then if Dallas Goedert, funny story about Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, funny story about him.
Sucker punched him in South Dakota. If he didn't slip like he had just gotten punched in the face in a slippery bar, well, then there's no pick 6 for Adoree Jackson.
Right, but it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, that's not like good defense. I mean, that's not like great defensive play.
Adoree would have been there to make a play.
Yeah, they would have had to stop, but they don't have the pick 6 turnover.
Right, but it happened. I mean, that's my counterpoint is that, hey, Guys are going to slip. How many tipped passes have gone for pick sixes for the Giants towards the early part of the year? It's shit like that is going to happen. You gotta, this is a game of lucky bounces too. And if you're on the other end of it and you're in a good spot to make a play, then that's a good thing in my opinion. And the Giants defense have been a part of those good bounces this year and those positive results way more than the Giants offense. And the Giants offense is way behind in the positive plays and the positive contributions and what Wink Martindale's defense has done. Yeah, did it look bad against the Eagles, who are way more talented? And I don't care. There's concerns about the Eagles. There are major concerns for the Philadelphia Eagles about this game. Hey, my NFL talking point, my NFL brain, not just talking Giants. I'm not coming away from this game impressed by the Giants. I'm coming away from this game really fucking concerned about where the Philadelphia Eagles are, and they easily feel like a wild card exit from whatever team that they play. They're not even going to play a team from the NFC South unless they make a wild card, unless they play like an NFC South team. They're going to get the number 1 seed because the 49ers just lost.
They might get the Seahawks
crazy.
again.
That's so crazy. Anyway, way more concerned about the Eagles this game than the Giants. But again, I don't know. I'm going in circles. Wink Martindale needs to stay, but I don't think he will. And that's a really bad look on Brian Daboll, in my opinion.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Well, we will know for sure in 2 weeks, which is going to be crazy to think about. Need to watch film, but to see how they were playing A.J. Brown. But they had Deontay Banks on A.J. Brown all game before he got injured, obviously. And he only gave up 2 catches, right? Got beat a few times on curl routes, which does tell me that they were playing him pretty often and bailing. But still, you didn't give them an easy outlet or option to get, some free yards type of off coverage versus Banks. That is, what am I looking for in film? That might be first thing I'm doing is I'm scrubbing through to see. I want to watch every Deontay Banks play in coverage closely. Did the stats, did the broadcast match a guy who was, stopping them from attacking with A.J. Brown, who again, we've talked about was, on pace to, almost close to that Calvin Johnson record. Now, when Banks went down, you saw A.J. Brown start to put up some numbers. I mean, he had 2 catches for 15 yards on Deontay Banks, and then Banks goes down. What did he have after that? You had him beat Adore on that little dig route. He had 4 catches for 65 yards in the other parts of the game. So obviously Banks had to be doing something halfway decent in that game. In this game, Dallas Goedert has kind of killed Xavier McKinney in back-to-back games, but he did have that forced incompletion in the 3rd and goal at the red zone. What do you think of the pass rush from the edge? Dex had some good plays, but snap count.
They need to upgrade at edge badly.
Yeah, they really do. You didn't really hear anything from Kayvon or Aziz in this game.
No, Kayvon had a QB hit. That's basically
Kurtz blocking him is a it's a tough position for NFL players because if you just demolish him, you might get in trouble. But at the same time, if you kind of got to take advantage of that and just.
I feel like he should have been in a spot to possibly make that play without Hurts even getting in a position to block him. You got to keep your head on a swivel at all times if you want to be that dude. And I'm kind of just convinced that at least in this week, I know he's had a really good year. I know he has double-digit sacks. I just don't see a player that dominates down in, down out. I'm sorry.
Well, no, he's not. But you would hope that he could, he's shown a lot of good things on film this year too, and continue to grow off of that. He's not a player who does that.
Yeah,
but
they need to upgrade at edge, and hopefully that will help. Hopefully that helps a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau. Hopefully. Adding another interior, Sean Robinson's been good, but hopefully adding another interior guy, whether it be via free agency or the draft, hopefully that can help Kayvon Thibodeau. There's a lot of work that they need to do on this front line. Really,
even if Kayvon was playing just dominant, I still think edge would be a huge priority.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And Azeez Ojulari, with the injuries and not looking like he did last year when he's been healthy. I wonder, and maybe this could be an off-season mailbag, I wonder, before free agency, I wonder if there's like any trade value for Aziz, right? Because there's a lot of good film, there's some good metrics, but the injuries,
he was healthy the final how many games of the season?
Yeah,
so.
Would a team convince themselves to like part ways with a 4th round pick or something for Aziz?
What's going to be a fun offseason project? Remember I did this in 2020? I compiled Leonard Williams QB hits, sacks, and pressures, and I said, all right, that's the X amount of percentage of the team. Maybe I'll compile Kayvon and Dex's QB hits, pressures, and sacks, and then look at every single other edge rusher that took a snap for the Giants this year. So the Aziz, Jihad Ward, Timon Fox, your guy,
Ben Whitley, Boogie Basham. Timon Fox looks a lot bigger in number 94 compared to 49.
Really threw me off. I thought it was Ellerson. Well, Ellison Smith's not big. I'm going to compile all those other stats from all those edge rushers that took at least one snap for the Giants this year, and then compare from 2 players versus all those other snaps combined and see what we're getting, because that was a fun exercise from 2020. Do it again.
I want to talk about this on the mailbag a little bit. McFadden lost some snaps to Simmons, which we've seen him come off on 3rd down, but there was like a series where Simmons just played over him, and then the next series McFadden comes in and has that tackle. He didn't get credit with the tackle for loss. Dex did, but created a negative 5-yard loss.
I would love Simmons so much more. He's had a lot of negative plays this year. Not a lot. He's had some negative plays this year, and he can't make the tackle, and he can't finish a play. It bothers tackles. Me. I would love him so much more, and I think I would actually feel more inclined if he finished those plays. I'd be like, yeah, why not? Let's continue to bring this cat back. But if he's not finishing those plays, and I don't expect him to make that one-handed interception, but if he did, that's a tutty. That's 7 points for the Giants. That was a nice play anyway to even get a hand on that ball, but. There's been plenty of plays.
The Boston Scott fumble, kind of.
Yeah, there's been plenty of plays this year where he's had guys like in the backfield or at the line, and he just can't finish and wrap up. And it's funny how you talked about that. Him coming in anyway. That was like part of his issue in Arizona.
Yeah, so let's talk about this Jamie Gilliam thing, and I'm not mad at Thomas McGahee on this. But
do you want to talk about something before we talk about special teams?
Actually, yeah. Before we talk about our punter, let's talk about Copilot. Copilot is a personalized fitness solution. Every individual is unique, so your fitness journey should be too. And guess what? Maybe if this happens, you won't get injured from kicking things. Copilot's app links you with an affordable real-life fitness coach who customizes workouts tailored to your individual needs and goals. So I talked with mine, right? He's got me set up, and I'm like, hey, my schedule's kind of fucking crazy. Like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I'm essentially working like 12 to 13 hours, and like, late. Can we fit this in? How does this work? He's like, cool, we're going to backload it on the end of the week. We got to get one in on the beginning of the week. So it's like really knows how to get the most out of you, and it's always pushing you. Completely personalized workouts with step-by-step guidance. Your coach will continuously update every workout to help you reach your goals. Workout plans tailored by your coach to be enjoyable and effective. Regular progress check-ins, support, and guidance. Workout programs designed around your specific lifestyle, like I was talking about. Ability to work out at your convenience with or without a gym. I'd love for you to follow my lead to get fit and feel fabulous. Give Copilot a try to find out why it was listed by Forbes as the top-rated personal trainer app of 2023. Head to mycopilot.com/Giants to get a 14-day free trial and 20% off your first month of personalized fitness with your own personal trainer if you sign up before February 1st, 2024. That's mycopilot.com/Giants to get a free 14-day trial and 20% off your first month. Sign up for 2024, the new year, and let Copilot help you reach your fitness goals. You'll be glad you did. They did the same exact thing as the Graham Gano, where they're like, was put on the injury report, was noticeably struggling before the game in warm-ups, and Pam Oliver said, yeah, he was noticeably limping, noticeably struggling, and then I talked to Thomas McGahee and said, no, he's got it wrapped, he's going to be fine, and he sucks. It was the exact same thing as the Graham Gano thing, where it's like, okay, before the game, oh, this guy's injured and it's noticeable and it's bothering him, and they're like, nah, he's fine, and then it costs them points.
Is he
right?
put
Like
on
they got
IR
their
today?
first touchdown off of a 12-yard drive.
Is he?
That's
put
a
on
Brian
IR
Dable
today?
thing, huh?
Is he put on IR today? That would be the Graham Gano timeline. Oh, he's fine. He's fine. Breaking news. Graham Gano is not fine. Next day, IR.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, right? Or at least give him the week off or something and pull somebody in. Like, you at least work out punters, have a punter backup plan. And, like, you're going to at least have to work guys out. But it was like, oh, my gosh, this is the exact same thing that happened with Graham Gano, where they said he's fine. That's, to me, and I'm not mad at McGahee for that. I'm mad at Brian Dable for that.
Do you know who is the MVP from the game?
What does that mean?
Who's the MVP from the Giants-Eagles game?
DeAndre Swift? I don't know.
Number 21, Mason Crosby.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like the actual MVP of the game.
No.
He looked good in that 21. And that was his first kick made for a team not the Packers, because it was when he was with the Rams, he didn't make a kick. Very, very weird seeing a number 21 kicking the ball. Like, number 21 just looks great in the Giants jersey, right? Obviously, Tiki, Pep, Landon Collins. So you've had some. It just looks. It's a great number in the Giants jersey for some reason. And then Mason Crosby like sporting it.
You want to know what I learned?
Yarder.
You want to know what I learned today? I never want to sign another kicker to a contract extension. You want to shit yourself? You want to shit yourself? Graham Gano's cap number next year is $7.2 million. We have $9.7 million in dead money, and there's no cap saving. The cap saving is $2.5 million in the red. So Graham Gano is on the roster next year. And this isn't to say that Graham Gano's bad and Graham Gano's an issue.
Well, he's really good. He's just injured.
I think this should. Hopefully, he's going to be good. He wasn't that good this year.
But he was injured.
I don't think any kicker. I don't think anybody on special teams should have a cap hit of $7.2 million, and then that's 3% of the cap. Not even 2025. Like the money's like weird, where it clears you. It never extend kickers. I am team never extend kickers. Have kickers that are on 1-year deals. If the kicker's hot, great, extend them by a year. If the kicker's cold, cut him, get him out, get somebody else in. That's what I learned this year. Because Fat Randy and Mason Crosby are just fine. That's what I learned.
I mean, Graham Gano has been really damn good for the New York Giants, right? Like
$7 million that's worth it?
Well, that's because they moved money around from the last contract he got from the Giants.
That's crazy. Team never pay kickers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big kicker contract, 3 or $16.5 million. So I guess I somewhat agree, but he was really. I mean, has there been, who's been a better kicker for the Giants in Giants history?
But the point is that it can so easily stop. You know, we were even saying it with like Rosas. Rosas was really good for the year, and then I think that
had one good year in the NFL.
Right, but then they extend him, and then it's like, all right, well then he goes cold, and I feel like that happens so much in the NFL, where kickers just go cold, and then you're stuck with them if they're on a deal. That's my special teams talking point. Yeah,
hopefully kickers don't get injured, right? Provenly good, really good kickers. But kickers don't matter. Well, I guess we're starting that new movement. We're on The Fan tomorrow at 3:30. Check us out. That's an episode. Don't want to go over an hour. So truly do appreciate you guys. We will see you on Thursday for a mailbag, because we played on a damn Monday again. Thursday mailbag, Friday preview. And then Monday, maybe the last recap show of the week season, we'll talk about it. We'll see you then. Until then, let's go Big Blue.